说了。
没问题，没事儿。
看得见。
那边还有钱币馆是吗？但钱币馆我印象好像没事儿，不重要。Hello again, everyone. This is Niu Niu with Wu Na and Huang Yue behind the camera. We're doing a live stream. Actually, this is the second part of the live stream of today, and we are in Kucha, Kuche, which is also where the ancient kingdom Qiuzi was located. Like I was explaining outside of the door right in front of me, instead of being a so-called kingdom, it was more like a part of the country that is a little bit remotely connected to the central part. You can understand it as a local autonomous region, which a lot of counties and prefectures are still in that state here in Xinjiang. They have their language, their way of speaking, they have their own culture, but they also have a connection with the central government back then in let's say for a really long time. And we were just about to head into the Qiuzi 博物馆, Qiuzi Museum, but we got cut off a little bit. Apparently, this is a very shy country with not really the best signal, but still we managed to come in here, and hopefully for the second part of today's live stream, the situation can be a little bit better. As always, please let me know if you guys can see and hear me clearly. That is crucial to the live stream as always, and I see many of you have already joined. Kenny, you're here. Of course, hello. And we have one Don Carlo saying, how's life? It's a very interesting time to be alive. That is a interesting comment. I'll let it fly. And Gregory, hi, seems to be a smooth stream now. Thank you so much. I agree with that too, and I'm glad to see you. James saying hi, Nia. Good morning to you too. Yes, good morning here in Xinjiang, and probably good evening to some of our excuse me, some of our friends in the United States. Hello to Arlene, and hello to James. Saying hi to Arlene. Kenny saying, please remember that they are in a small village in region areas, so internet be not so good. Please be patient and enjoy the live stream. Thank you so much for saying that. That is exactly what we are having right now. Even though this is kind of still a city level county here in Xinjiang, the internet might not be the best, but this place has so much to offer, so please stay with us. And make sure I get to say hi to our friends on Learn Chinese as well, and then I will get into the museum and show some really cool stuff. I have to let you know that it's really amazing. And right there I see 展厅 exhibition hall, 展厅. Cortland saying, first one comment, yes, you're sitting on the couch, you grabbed the couch, good for you. Jeff, hello to you too, and hello Jose. We are here in Xinjiang, and actually in the Kucha, a county level city, which was a ancient kingdom, one of the second largest one of the 36 kingdoms in the West region. 西域36国. Okay, let's step into the exhibition hall and see what are the history that is presenting themselves to us. When I was first getting to the into the exhibition hall, what's making me surprised was that to see they had really a long history, a long, let's say, dates back to around 4,000 years ago, because I think this is a really dry place. It was in the continental desert climate, so I thought it was not that conducive for human beings to live. But actually, it is also adjacent to the Tarim Basin, which makes the natural environment a little bit harsh if you are the kind of person who do not like dry climates, but also it has really rich natural resources. As you can see, these are some relics that local people dug up from 4,000 years ago, quite a long time. And right here, these are coal mines. You can see that for this one is also a coal mine. Remember the Koktokay coal mine we witnessed the other day? And this was a fun one because this was back in the Tang Dynasty, so it's around 700 AD or something. And here, this is actually the underwater or the sewage pipe, 下水管道啊，桃水管道. So it's made in China, quite deserve its name. Well, I'm talking about China, our country. They can use this kind of material to come up with the natural or sewage pipe. And this is actually a foundation. Once you are making or constructing a building right here, you need a solid foundation. Even though the building itself might be a wooden structure, this stone foundation can make sure the buildings are solid in the ground. So this is the first exhibition hall. If you're interested in history or culture, probably you would have a better understanding about all these things. And this one is also a funny one. This is actually an ancient cannon, 一个炮筒，古代的炮筒。Our lovely lady Gu Li told me that this is the kind of cannon that you have to put the bullets, the huge bullets, from the front and then ignite from the front. So the other end, the rear end of the cannon was actually sealed. So you have to put just like this, a little bit like this. You put it from here and ignite from here, and it can only shoot within the distance of 20 to 30 meters, which is quite short, making it not a very efficient weapon, more like an ornament, saying hi to your enemy, see what kind of weapon we got. And they tried and realized, no, that's not good. Let's use our old school knives and swords and let's fight with our flesh and blood. Not a really good time to fight. Yes, and this is also a very interesting one. You guys can guess what it is. It looks like a construction. People might get in. It has holes on it. And yes, this was a military post. During nighttime, you can lit a fire in this post so that from afar, people might be able to see you. And of course, you can put off and turn on the fire anytime you want to send signal. And during daytime, instead of fire, which is not that obvious anymore, you can have smoke coming out of that channel thing on the top of this construction, and that is why in Chinese we say 烽火台. 烽火台. That is our 烽火台we're looking at. That's the ancient style. And the Chinese on it, 克孜尔, 克孜尔, ga. This actually means red military post. So it's about the color. I think the color has something to do with the local soil. And if you watched yesterday's live stream, you might notice that in the Tianshan mysterious great or grand canyon, the soil as well as the mountain itself is quite red or rufous, like Huang Yue would say. It was the red soil and the red military post. Let's continue to walk. Make sure if you're interested, you leave a message here in the comment area. And if you want to know more information about it, I have the lovely and beautiful Gu Li right next to me, so you can ask any questions you want. If you like the live stream, please like and share and comment as much as possible. It helps us a lot, and it helps fellow Chinese lovers, Chinese culture, Chinese history lovers to get to know our country, our culture a little bit better. We have Hard Life saying good morning from Cape Town, South Africa. Hello to you too. Very happy to see you here. And let's see if we have any questions from our friends on China Plus America. I would love to answer your questions because I know you would have the curiosity that you want to know the history about it, and you can appreciate the beautiful flower and this little garden here. We have a little more comments from our China Plus America already. George saying watchtower. Yes, you are right. Very brilliant answer. It is a watchtower. I call it a military post because not only can they watch over for enemies out there, they can also send each other signals and pass messages with each other using the, we know, fire, 火, and also smoke, 烟, so 火, fire during nighttime, and 烟, smoke during daytime. They send signals and they let each other know what the situation is like on the watch field. So yeah, on the battlefield. Thank you, Gregory. That is a really amazing answer. James saying hi. Steve, Kenny saying, James, my day is going well, and how are you? Yes, you guys continue to mingle. Steve, hello. Hope you all are well. We are very well, except that the internet signal is not the best. So if there's any interruption, please bear with. Derek saying, I love the channel, learning something new every day. Very culture. Thank you so much. And we have Derek asking, what is this place called? This place is a county level city here in Kuche. Well, it is called Kuche, and it is in Aksu Prefecture. In ancient times, it got a lot of names, and most significant one was Qiuci, because Qiuci was one of the 36 kingdoms in the west region, so 西域36国之一, so quite amazing landscape. And we know it has a history of over 4,000 years, quite a long history, 4000年, 4,000 years. And this place also has a very significant Buddhism history. Actually, if you know Chinese characters, which you might don't, it does not really matter, you would know that during the previous 2 live streams, we've talked about a specific, very important and famous monk, a translator, a scholar, and a prelate who is called Xu Zhang. He was very, very knowledgeable, and he was the one that went into really faraway places in the West region to get to the essence of the Buddhism texts. In order to do so, he traveled really far, and he actually came here in Qiuci back then. It was called Qiuci. He even had a little bit of text describing this place. I have it right here. He said that the soil is suitable for rice and grain. It produces grapes, pomegranates, and numerous species of plums, pears, peaches, and almonds. The ground is rich in mineral goods, copper, iron, and lead and tin. The air is soft, very beautiful, and the manners of the people are honest. They excel other countries in their skill in playing on the lute and pipe. They clothe themselves with ornamental garments of silk and embroidery. This passage was actually the test written by Xuanzang himself, because he spent around 2 months in the Qiuci area, and he learned a lot from it. And let's see if you have any comments from here. We have Woon Don saying, how much sunlight around year do you have in China? I think it depends on which part of the country you are in. James saying, try for beautiful live stream and learning something new every day when watching the live stream. Thank you so much. And we were talking about the Kuche or Kucha history here, and especially its Buddhism origin. I think you might find it a little bit confusing, because thinking about Xinjiang, you would think about the ethnic Uyghur, you might think about Muslim, but actually it has a really long history of Buddhism before it transferred into Muslim. And as you can see, it was one of the most significant posts that led the Buddhism developed into the more central region of China, thanks to not only Xuanzang, the hero and also the star of the Journey to the West novel. We talked about the previous 2 live streams. If you're interested, you can go watch. But also a translator who is called, oh my god, got the name, excuse me, oh my goddess, I got his name. His Chinese name was actually 鸠摩罗什, and I know the English pronunciation is supposed to be Kumarajiva. Kumarajiva was also born in here, and his mother was the princess of Qiuci state back then, and his father was a monk himself, but because he was quite good at what he did, and the Qiuci state back then, the emperor or the king of the Qiuci state, decided to marry his daughter to that great monk, and resulting in 鸠摩罗什 himself in we have Kumarajiva. We have a lot of audience here with us. A lot of tourists are here, and they are enjoying this exhibition hall as well. Like I was saying, Kumarajiva was the great translator, and he translated a lot of the Buddhist texts into Chinese, of course, ancient Chinese. And the way he describes these, let's say, Buddhism concept was not only very accurate, but also very beautiful. That is also the reason that Xuanzang, the monk, chose this route to, let's say, continue his journey to the West. And yes, let's take a closer look at this. This might be a little bit surprising. If you're a kid under the age of 18, you might warn yourself. If you are with a kid under the age of 18, probably you want to judge by yourself whether or not you're going to let them see this, because we actually have a skeleton right here. According to Gu Li, our lovely lady, this skeleton is supposed to be a 秋瓷 beautiful lady. We say in Chinese 秋瓷美女，对吧？一个秋瓷美女。Okay, so you already know that from the shape of the skeleton, you would judge whether or not it is a male or a female. And on top of that, the reason we're calling her a beautiful lady is because, judging by the skeleton, this lady is 1.7 meters tall, which is around 5.5 inches, so really tall lady. And if you take a closer look at the head part of the skeleton, you can see that the forehead is quite flat, and this, according to history, during that time in Qiuci state, if you are with the aristocratic family or a noble family, instead of a family that is with lower social status, you would experience the kind of ritual during birth time that is use a very flat plaque carved with Buddhism text to pressure your head, both the forehead and the back of your head, to make the forehead and the back really flat. So judging by the skeleton, we would know this lady is from a noble family. Not meaning that they have high moral standards, but meaning they have really high social status. And as you can see, the teeth are quite clear and preserved really well. And that is also because of the climate here in Qiuci, or here in Kucha. It is the continental desert climate, really, really dry, which is why the skeleton is still preserved really well. So thank you for giving us all this information, beautiful lady. May you rest in peace. If we continue to walk, we would see here are some beautiful pictures of with a Buddhism character on it. Kumarajiva. You can read for yourself if you want. And we have 2 more skeletons here. They are couples. They apparently loved each other because when they were found, their arms are still together. By saying together, I mean they're holding each other together, and still a sad story, but again, lovely couple. May you be a happy couple next life as well. Okay, we have Gregory asking, what's the seasons like there? Do they got cold winters? 哎，我们冬天冷吗？不太冷，是不是？不 不太下雪. Okay, so Gu Li told me that during winter time, or let's say there's no distinct differences among the 4 seasons. During winter time, it's not so cold. They do not really have snow a lot. So yeah, I guess if you do not like cold winter weather, you would like this place. And all the sculptures behind me are replicas. We do not really have the real stuff. The real stuff are located in museums all around the globe. So if you see one, make sure to tell the curators there, you know, it'll be a nice idea to return it back to China. Gregory saying, wow, I agree. I think it's very, very interesting part of the history. I'm just curious on show the rest of our world family is doing. Yes, you guys can continue to do that. And this part is the Qiuci Museum, Qiuci 博物馆. Now we are heading to another part of this site. That is the palace or the local palace of the Prince of Qiuci. So he was the ruler of this area. Back when it was a state, a so-called state, back when it was very populous and very prosperous, until probably today, level very beautiful city here, and his 5th wife is still living here. So let's go check that out. Vincent saying, fascinating. Thank you for sharing the beautiful museum and lovely garden. Yes, if you continue with our live stream, you would be able to see more. And if you are interested in knowing more about this lovely place, make sure you stay tuned with China Plus as well as CRI Learn Chinese Facebook page. Speaking of CRI Learn Chinese Facebook page, did you remember how to say museum? 博物馆呢？一定要学会一个词，博物馆，博物馆。梅麦克说那些骨架 ，yes, those skeletons were dug up by local people. It was ancient people living here, and we found them, even though we do not really know what was their wishes to pass knowledge to future generations or to really rest in peace underground. Still, we got them, so we pay our tribute to them and thank them for giving us the hard evidence of the history and the knowledge. Where are you now? I am in Kucha. It is a county-level city here in Xinjiang, belongs to the Aksu Prefecture. It locates in the rather center area of Xinjiang Uyghur region. It is, let's say, with the continental desert climate, and it is not that economically developed comparing to Beijing or Shanghai megacities like that. But spending only probably half a day here, I'm already drowned into the rich culture and lovely atmosphere in the town. People are quite in peace. They are not rushing around for, start working 8 o'clock in the morning, probably because they have a really long daytime, and their day start from 10 and probably end around 8 during nighttime. And I get to see a lot of people from different ethnic groups, and here we've already witnessed the Chinese Qing Dynasty style architecture. Let's go check out more of this real Wangfu Palace. Let me give you a little bit general information about the, let's say, the structure of the ancient Chinese government. So the central government, we got an emperor. The emperor is basically in charge of the whole country area, and then you would got some king or prince. The prince are not in the sense of they're blood related with the emperor. It's more like a social or governmental status. They are one level below the emperor himself. They're in charge of regional places, regional units and areas, and they have also kind of a high power as well, especially in remote areas. And in Kuche or in Qiuci back then, there was this kind of ruler. They are in charge of bring their people good lives, and the princess princes or the kings themselves might fight sometimes, and there even might be rebellion battles against the central government sometime, and all that falls into the category of some, let's call it domestic rebellious or domestic turbulence. So yes, I know it might sound a little bit confusing, but all you have to know is the emperor is higher than everyone, and the kings and the princes are basically rulers of local places. And then we can get into the wangfu, the mansion or the local palace, and get to see what this is about. Are you a Chinese girl or foreigner? I'm a Chinese girl. I'm with a Han ethnic group, so I only speak Mandarin and English. I do not speak local language, which makes it a little bit hard for me to communicate with the wife of the prince, of the last prince here in Kucha. But I have the help of the lovely lady Gu Li. She's going to translate for me if you have any questions. And yes, let's continue to walk. Chinese language, good morning means 早上好,早上好, good morning. Okay. A part of the site is still under construction. They're trying to make the place as beautiful as you can, as it can. So please bear with the sound. And let's take a look at this exhibition hall. Let's take a look at this exhibition hall because the architecture style is also very much Qing style. If you have ever visited the Forbidden Palace, the Palace Museum, Gugong, you might find the resemblance. And there's the red lantern, also the roof. And the reason for that is because this is kind of like a gift from the then one emperor, the Daoguang emperor of the Qing dynasty, to the 6th generation prince of Kucha back then. I'll give you a little more information about that once we get in there. If the internet signal is good enough here, let me find a beautiful place. 我们等一下再进去，我们可以有可能让他们稍微停一下吗？如果可以的话，不行也没有关系啊。Okay, so I was just saying that if it's possible for us to have a... Okay, so before I give you more information about that, let me say hello to Vincent. Hello. And also Kenny saying, I'm sure local start work when they finish this stream. Yes, they are working quite hard. And Artheline saying, is that a yin and yang symbol? Yes, you noticed that, right? There was an yin and yang symbol outside in the yard. And it is because that the symbol itself, or in this place, you get to see the Buddhism history or Buddhism culture. Out there was also a Muslim culture wrapped around in it, and local people decided to have a symbol of the Taoist culture as well, to have a true culture fusion. So yes, that was an yin and yang symbol. And 是八卦 A to diagram yin and yang 八卦. You guys are quite observant. You can see the 八卦. I didn't even notice at the very beginning. And Tyler saying very interesting. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. James Nielsen saying Una, I believe. Yes, Una is behind the camera. She is doing a really amazing job, and I think after this 1-month-long Xinjiang trip, she's gonna got really strong upper arm strength because she does this every day. Kenny saying your dress matches with the building. I know, isn't it nice? Okay, so I am standing in front of the exhibition hall showcasing the history of this palace. Actually, I've already talked to you a little bit about the governmental structure of ancient China. And the situation is, during the Qing dynasty, even though we know that the history of the western region getting in touch, getting involved, and getting close connection with the central government can date back to before century time, to the Han dynasty. Still, during the long history in the Chinese, or during the long Chinese history, has been many changes. Some little tribes decided to declare themselves as a kingdom, and some of them fight against the central government, and we got to the Mongolian ethnic group and the then Mongolian people conquering everyone and everything, including Europe and part of China. So yeah, a lot has happened. But during the Qing dynasty, the West region was mostly under the control of two groups of people. One was supported by the local ethnic groups, and the other was supported by the, let's say, the religions back then, that was the Tibetan Buddhist religion. And that one, there was this Hoja. Hoja was basically an honorable title, and that generation of Hoja was two brothers. So we can call them the senior Hoja as well as the junior Hoja. In Chinese, we say 大小合浊,大小合浊. They were captured by their enemy. Remember, the group of people that were supported by local ethnic groups, and they were captured for a really long time, several years, and then they sent a message back to the central government then in the Qing dynasty, saying that we were captured, we like you, we want the whole country to unite, please save us. So the emperor back then decided to save them, decided to get them out from where they were basically captured. However, these two brothers were not really nice people. After getting freedom, they decided to be rebellious and start a fight against the central government. That was, in Chinese, we call it 大小合浊叛乱. So the senior and junior Hoja being rebellious and start a domestic war against the central government in the Qing dynasty back then. So they didn't really notify the central government back then. They were quite sneaky, and they start war, and people were not loving them. And then finally, the prince of this place, the prince of Kucha, the prince of Qiuzi back then, the ruler, fought really hard. And he sent a message to the central government back then. Let's see what he looks like. He was the first generation of the Qiuzi prince. And you can see that we are going inside the exhibition hall. Here he is. So this is the first generation, or the first recorded generation of the Qiuzi prince. The reason that he's the first one is not because he's the first ruler, but because actually he was the first one that got the title of a prince, because he helped to put off or to pacify the rebellion battle from the junior and senior Hoja. So he got the title of a prince, and he was painted in this type of painting in the this painting was given to him by the Emperor Qianlong of the Qing dynasty. And this is, of course, a replica. We got the real piece in Beijing in the Forbidden City, in the Palace Museum. So this is the first one. And another significant prince was the sixth generation. The sixth generation prince was the reason that we can see this lovely, 对，第六在那边，对不对？ Sorry, wrong direction. He was the reason we get to actually appreciate and enjoy this lovely museum, because he fought against, or he helped pacify another rebellion fight from the, I think, another small regime, and that is called 他平定了哪个叛乱？ 他平定了哪个叛乱？第六。长个儿叛乱. Okay, so that was a different rebellion war, and it does not, you don't really have to remember the name of it, but the key point to know is that, as you can see, his clothes is getting different. His clothes is getting closer to the Qing dynasty clothes, and that is because he got a higher ranking. He was honored a higher, let's say, award, and this palace was actually a gift from the Daoguang Emperor then. Thanks to the Daoguang Emperor, we got this lovely museum and this local palace. And that is also the reason why the palace looks with the resemblance of a Qing dynasty architecture style, because a real Qing dynasty worker was here making or constructing this palace. So you can see this is really with the Han ethnic group style. But as long as we walk past a tiny little door over there, let's take a look, you would see the Uyghur element in this place. We have Gregory saying, I always like the woodwork of these buildings. Yes, the woodwork is quite nice. And on the other side of that little door, we get to see some not only woodwork, but also, let's say, ironwork as the architecture goes. I have an yin and yang bracelet. That is lovely. Okay, as you can see, these patterns and these styles are absolutely with Uyghur element. And I was told by Gu Li, or买买提是爸爸的名字by Gu Li, that you can see these kind of beds over here with this very beautiful embroidery on it. This is also a Uyghur tradition that is during summertime, because it can be very, very hot, and also they wanted to enjoy some fruit and say hello to friends and entertain their friends. So they would have wood iron beds like this, and also those ones. Can we go over there? Yes, let's go over there. I think I match with this a little bit better. Yes, these ones. These beds in the yard so that they can enjoy some open air area, very nice ones here in the yard. 所以呢，我们在夏天的时候，夏天 summertime 可以做这种在露天院子里面放的床，在院子里放的床 very, very nice. We have James saying, my friends, you guys have a wonderful night. Take care. I see you guys next time around. I have to be up early for work tomorrow morning. Of course, thank you, James, so much for being with us. You can watch the playback to get the rest of the live stream if you want. Thank you so much. And Kenny saying, the place you are at, do you need entry fee or do you need to book a tour guide? Well, I think they have tour guides here, but you do need an entry fee of around 55 yuan per person. I do not think it's a really high fee, so it's okay if you want to come here with the museum and the palace together. And yes, some comments from our Learn Chinese Facebook page. At the same time, if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comment area. 我想问一下，咱们这里边有很多植物，这都是王菲喜欢的吗？还是说自己种的啊？ Okay, like I was saying, in here, not only do we have the last generation prince, who was, again, another reason we get to see this palace, because this palace is not the original one anymore. It was destroyed in 1937. So a little bit before the founding of the People's Republic of China. It was destroyed during the domestic war. And in 2004, based on the memory of the last prince of Kucha, local people decided to rebuild this place so that he himself, as well as his wife, can live here. And this place can also be a good tourist destination for people to visit. And that is how we got this palace here today. And yes, I'm still waiting to get the signal of some of our comments here. Muhammad is saying how to say Chinese Uyghur Muslim. Muslim would be 穆斯林 and Uyghur would be 维吾尔族 维吾尔族. Thank you for all these comments. Uyghur 维吾尔族 Mac, you're here. Very happy to see you here. You're saying 早安我的姐妹，你在哪儿？我在库车王府。库车 is a county level city here in Aksu Prefecture. It was in ancient time, it was called Qiuci, and Qiuci got a ruler. We call him Qiuci Wang. We know Wang is king or emperor. So Wang Ye would be the king or prince, and Qiuci Wang got a place to live, and this is the place to live. If you want to know exactly how he got this lovely place with different architecture styles, you can go watch the playback. Do not worry about it. And like I was saying, we can still see the wife of the last prince of Qiuci here in this tourist site, and I think we can call her princess as well. She got married with the prince in 1997. So yes, quite a young marriage. Well, not a young marriage per se. It's more like a modern kind of marriage. So you can even take a picture with the last relative of the prince. Let's go and see the inner decoration. I think it is also a Uyghur tradition. That is when you go inside into the room, you have to take off your shoes. So you take off your shoes and go inside. Like I was saying, the princess is quite nice, and she is taking pictures with the tourists. And go see a lot of tourists. This is actually the inside, the indoor of the palace. I think is the princess home, and they're taking pictures. You can take a look. The Kucha Palace was built in 1759, and you can see you get to take pictures with her. Actually, here in Kucha, because it is a city with a really long history, there are many traditions and there are many tiny little details that make people put a smile on people's face. As far as I know, this is that has been a place that is famous for its donkey vehicles, 驴车 we say, donkey vehicles, and also famous for the bazaar and for the blacksmith. Local people are living a very, let's say, peaceful and quiet and slow kind of life. They know their neighbors, and when they're being a blacksmith, they even know what kind of farming tools everybody needs. They make customized tools for everyone, and they'll wait for you to get your tool. And right here we also have this little evidence of history. You can see here this is a local folk musician playing his music instrument, which I do not even recognize what instrument is it, but yes, let's talk to the princess a little bit. I'm not really sure if she understands me, but 没关系谢谢. So on her table, even though in the modern society we do not really have a status of princess or anything, but she's still being very hospitable, and she is presenting herself to us every day with beautiful clothes and saying hello. 你好，你好，你好啊！谢谢，谢谢。我们在做直播，我们有很多外国的朋友，可以跟他们打个招呼。Hi. Okay, on this note, I think This is what history is about. When the society is developing, sometimes something would disappear, but it will be always, always nice to preserve when we still can and to have a look at ourselves and understand a little bit of where we or how are we here? How did we come here? And thank you guys so much for being with us today for today's live stream. We're still in Xinjiang, and when we move from the northern side of the country, of the prefecture of the region to the southern side, we would get to witness more and more relics, more and more evidence of the history of the culture, and that hopefully is something you do not want to miss. So thank you so much for watching the live stream today. If you like the live stream, please like and share and comment as much as possible. It helps us a lot. And if you like to watch the playback, it is easy to find on China Plus America, China Plus News, China Plus South Africa, as well as Learn Chinese. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.